Good morning, my people. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, this is just a quick one before I dash out to work. I just decided to kind of share this and kind of like there's something I want to drop. Okay, because I'm kind of in a rush, but I really want to say what I believe that I would like to draw your attention to. For those of you who don't know me or you see my face for the first time, my name is Adam Wachuku, or maybe you just I just pop up on a news feed for you and you just like who is this person? My name is Adam Wachuku. I am the talk show host on Tina Talk Show. I am an ambassador. I'm a trained psychotherapist, and I am also, by the grace of God, an apostle. Now, in all these things that I am doing, that I just mentioned to you, they are all to the glory of God. You know, I use it to work, to do, to touch lives. Now, what I want to quickly draw attention to this morning is something that has been in my mind, and it's my way of trying to to create an avenue to continue to support the people in the community and worldwide, you know, if possible, or if they need my assistance. You see, where I want to draw attention to this morning. Good morning, Bemi, Jacob. Thank you so much for for watching. Where I want to draw attention to is this issue that is going on, and this is about our children and how we see what is happening around them. And I've come to, I've done some research. I've asked, I've heard parents talk, and I've also researched on a few things, and I've come to see that there's a lot of things, especially in our African community, we don't understand, or we don't, because of the way we were brought up, we don't understand that the importance of talking. Even though we hear all the time when people say, that the term a problem have, when you talk about a problem to somebody, when you share it, is half solved. Now we say this all the time to ourselves as adults, to encourage each other. But how are we really sharing this same view with our kids, with our children? Do they also know that sharing is also part of solution to anything that they are going through? And the reason why this is really in my heart this morning is because of, as we all understand as parents, a lot of children are, secondary school students are going through their GCSE, they're about to start their GCSE exams, and a lot of depression has been, lingering around, and not every parent understands this area. And this is my reason of coming up to actually address something, or to draw our attention to this particular place. Now, as somebody who is trained integratively in psychotherapy, I am trained integratively, meaning that I understand the three aspects. I understand three aspects, three approaches to counseling. Now, one is looking at our behavior. I work psychodynamically, looking at our human behaviors, and also looking at, why we think the way that we think, where, what are the causes, why do I reason the way that I reason, okay? And also I also work person-centered approach, understanding the client, understanding the person, and walk in their shoes. You understand? Be able to be there for them and let them know that they, if they stay strong, that you can give them a guide, in order to work effectively in that situation without falling. Now, the children are going through GCSE now. They are preparing for GCSE. And I tell you, there's a lot of stress that I've seen. I've heard parents talk, I've heard students talk, I've heard a lot of, things going on in air. this is the season where a lot of children commit suicide. This is the time where their mental health starts to deteriorate. This is the time that their perception of life starts to change. You understand? So yes, GCSE is very important, for them to have good grades. But what is more important is their mental state. Now, when we hear mental state, especially in our African community, we tend to think about mental as in madness. Now, your mental state is actually your mind. It's your mind, how you see things. What is it? When they say, oh, that word when you hear people say, I've lost my mind. Now, how can we find our mind when we lost it? Because actually we can lose it. And situations like the GCSE or situations as an adult that we are facing sometimes can make us lose our mind. And once we lose it, unfortunately, some people are unable to find their mind again. And this is why you see people deteriorate. They go into medication, they fall into depression, they fall into anxiety. Now, yes, it's very expensive to afford a counselor. It is very expensive, it's very expensive. Okay, if you check out how much counselors charge, it's very expensive, and not a lot of parents can afford this. Not a lot of parents. Now, one of the signs that I want to draw our attention to as parents, especially now that our children are going through GCSE and a lot of this are happening, one of the areas I want to draw our attention as parents is this. If you find one of the symptoms you should look out for during this period of exam is if your child suddenly becomes very quiet, becomes very isolated, that is a sign that depression is about to kick in. And sometimes we think, oh, this child is very quiet, since he's been prepared for exam, it's kind of like very quiet. He just like to study quietly and all that. That is sign of depression kicking in. Okay? And the school is not even making it easy, making it worse for them. Give them the understanding that if you don't pass your GCSE, that is the end, that you may end up being a cleaner on the street, picking up the rubbish on the street. And no child wants to think about being in that position. So they put all their all, and the target is so high that every child wants to get the best. Now, for me, when you give your best in everything that you do, for me, that is enough. No, it's not everybody that have the ability to meet the standard or the targets that the government have set. You need to understand your child's limitations. And a lot of times parents don't understand their children's limitations. You don't know how far your child can go. All you want is to go out there and bring me the best grades. But do you know how far your child, the limitations of your child, their ability, do you know how far they can go? Be careful how you stretch them. If you stretch them beyond, I also work in mental health department and areas, so I see a lot of the people who has fallen into psychosis situations. A lot of people who has gone into really mental. When I say mental challenges right now, that they have been sectioned, that they are on medication. A lot has stemmed from, when I read their histories, a lot has stemmed from primary schools, secondary school, university. A lot of children at university are actually going, most of them are going through so much depression. So now, the question is, because I have come to see that in my community, in a white community, they understand what counseling is and the benefit of counseling. So they get involved, but in our African community, we don't understand. We think, oh, let me pray for you. Tell your child to sit down and you pray for them. No, that prayer, there are some situations that you need actions. Now, most of the time, our children might not be able to feel confident to speak to us as parents that they are struggling. So this is why it's very important. I would suggest bringing somebody that they can trust, somebody that they can really talk to how they are feeling, because the last thing you want is your child to fall into depression. And when they fall into depression, it drags into anxiety, fear for the future. And when they start fearing the future, they become unable to identify what is it that they're really, really passionate about in life. They become fearful to even step out to try things out. You don't want that to happen to your children. A lot of teenagers today, the reason why they don't know where where to turn to is because no one, understands them. So I have come up with a plan. In case you live in my community or you live in London, anywhere actually. But let me just focus on the areas that I can reach. Now, like I said before, it's very expensive to afford a counselor. So now I have created a system where I can be of help. Now, if your child needs that kind of help, if you think that your child is struggling mentally, emotionally, they are stressing, because what happened is that after a while they repress those feelings. When you repress a feeling, when you don't talk about situations, what you are experiencing, the feelings that you are experiencing, what that does is that because you have held it so long, it becomes repressed. And once it's repressed, it definitely sits somewhere in the emotions. It's not going anywhere. The child, it starts to come out in a different way. They become very aggressive. They become very irritated. Every little thing will irritate them. They become, some of them even go into gangs. Or, things start to happen. Okay, that you expect. They will maybe start to go into smoking and things like that, just to help numb that feeling, because it hasn't gone nowhere. So now I have decided to come up with a plan to say, if you have a teenager preparing for GCSE, or you have a young ones, or a young adult who is really, really, you think that they need help. Now, what you don't want is to refer them, first of all, take them to GP to start taking medication. You don't want to do that. That's not the first solution. The first solution is to get them to start talking, sharing their emotions. Now, they are not comfortable to talk to you about it. Okay? So they want to talk to somebody else confidentially, share their emotions, what they are experiencing. Now, if you are having that challenge with your child or children, contact me. I have decided to make it as cheap. In order to afford, minimum is at least £50 per session, per hour in counseling. That is the minimum you can get. Okay, if you contact me, I will tell how much I charge. I'm just saying the minimum for it to afford a counselor is £50 upwards. Now, if you are struggling with your child or children and you cannot afford this, get in touch with me. I will charge you as little as just doing it for free. I volunteer every now and again with organizations to support and also to grow myself. I'm a private consultant. You can consult, I can come to your house. That is how determined I am, prepared to help. I can do home visits to come and sit with your child. Find a private corner in your house and talk to your child confidentially. Let them share, let them begin to open up. This is what in our African communities we don't do. Like I said, one of the signs are this: when they start to constantly have headaches because they are studying too much, or they start to withdraw from activities, or they start to feel depressed. They keep telling you, I'm stressed, don't ignore those words. When your child says, I'm stressed, don't ignore it. When your child becomes very, very quiet, don't ignore it. Don't think that they are tired. Don't think, begin to understand your children's emotions. And don't push them too much. You need to begin to understand their abilities, their limitations. You need to begin to understand what target my child, the school has set a target. Now, can my child really meet this target? Are they able to meet this target? A lot of us don't know the limitations of our children. We push them. We push them too much that they become mentally disturbed. They become violent. They become very aggressive. They become very unhappy because you don't understand that they can't do this. Every child is intelligent in their own way. If your child is struggling with math, whatever your child is struggling with, that is because there's something else that they are good at. A lot of us as parents want to see our children to become engineers, to become doctors, to become lawyers and things like that. But have you ever sat down to actually think, and so is this somebody that likes to argue situations or argue case? I want my child to be a doctor. But is my child, does it have passion for, taking care of human beings? If something around the house, maybe an injury occurs to someone, how are they quick to attend to that situation? Or do they run away or frown at it or just scream at it? How comfortable are they in that situation? You want your child to go to uni. Yes, everyone wants that. Oh, my child is a graduate, or my child is a graduate. But is university actually the right place for them to be? Is university actually the right place? Because a lot of us now are, a lot of the children now prepare for September uni. But it's my child. Maybe your child is telling you, Mom, university is not for me. Have you sat your child down to actually say, okay, what is it that you really want to do? And what is the difference, the uni and the one you want to do? Let that child explain to you. I remember back in the days, someone would get up and say they want to become a seamstress, what we call tailor. They want to do tailoring. The parents would frown at it. They would scream at it. What do you mean you want to do? You want to go and learn tailor? After secondary school or primary school, they want to learn tailoring. But parents don't see it as as the right thing to do. Then they force that child to uni and they keep repeating, or they even manage to come out and they are not fulfilled. They still run back to their passion because at this time you are not behind their back anymore. But today, people that have learned how to make clothes, they are making so much money, good living from that. They are what we call the designers today. Fashion designers. They create, they design. So every areas, please, I am urging and I'm calling on to parents to contact me. If you think your child needs someone to talk to, it's not about prayer. It's about hearing them out. I have started to do that for free for my friends' children. Go and meet auntie. She will talk to you. Go and talk to auntie. A lot of children confide in me. They come to talk to me. And by the way, I am registered with a body that guide and watch what I am doing. I am not just practicing, but I am registered with the trust body in this country, UK. So I follow guidelines and rules and regulation that governs counseling and psychotherapy in this country. So you can trust me for confidentialities. Let me help you to understand your child for you. Let me help you bring the best out of your child for you. That is one of the reasons I decided to do this, because I have, my job every day is, I practice. Okay, I hear stories. And when I look at the histories, it all stems from childhood traumas, childhood experience, some from university, they break down into mental health situations, some from secondary school, some from college, some from primary school. Most of the time, those ones will tell you, my parents pushed me too much that I just couldn't, a lot of suicidal. A lot of them they have considered suicide because they feel they've been pushed to the point where they don't want to come back and disappoint their parents. Wouldn't you want your child, wouldn't want to know what is going on in your child's mind? They may not want to talk to you. Get a professional, get somebody, a friendly somebody who can come in and actually say, sit down and talk to your child. So I'm putting my hands up for that to say, I am willing to help your child from the age of 14 that I am trained from. From the age of 14, I am qualified to look at issues. I can come to your house and be of help. You will not pay me too much. I will not charge you like I would normally charge adults. Or maybe you yourself as an adult, you are going through some psychological issues. You are going through you're feeling depressed, you're feeling down, you're feeling, life is not, like you don't feel the loss for life anymore. And you feel like you want counseling, but you can't afford one. Get in touch with me. I will not charge you too much. Trust me. I will not charge you too much. I can come to your house and we can sit in your sofa and then we can talk about what you are going through. Like I said, everything is confidential because I am registered with a body in UK that governs my practice. Please, this time is a period of GCSE for children. A lot of children are going through depression right now. A lot of children are going through stress. Don't push them more than they can take. What I tell my children, I say, you see, your best is good enough. Your best is good enough for me, and that is what is good enough for you. Don't go beyond bounds. Because when you go beyond bounds, every brain is wired differently. Every brains are wired differently. Spirituality, we say, everyone has their calling. Everyone has their anointing. What I can take, you might not be able to take it. What you can take, I might not be able to take it. So this goes to our children. As an adult, we know our limitations to some extent. But we don't pay attention to the limitations for our children. We don't pay attention to know what they are struggling with. Mental issues is real. It starts from childhood. We need to begin to pay attention to our children. If your child is not forthcoming with communication about what they are going through, please get someone else to really, to poke them to talk so that you can understand what they are going through. Please, I just decided to kind of let you know that I want to be there for your child. What I'm seeing going on is sad. What I'm hearing going on is sad. Let me be there. Contact me. Send me an email via Messenger and tell me where you live, and then we'll take it from there. I want to come and be of help. Like I said, I will not charge too much. Okay? It will be affordable, trust me. And if it's a situation where you can't even afford what I would say, what I will give to you, I can offer it for free. Okay? Please, This is serious. Mental health is not a joke. Let me tell you, the reason why we hear, you see the recent development of the prince and his wife. One of the prince of this country and his wife, Meghan, when they've left, decide to start their own life. Do you think it's an ordinary hand? They feel, it's like when they push you to the wall too much. They are running, it's an escape. Their expectations is too high for them. Maybe the other son can handle it. Maybe the other wife can handle the pressure, the expectations. But they need to understand, not everybody can understand, can take the pressure. Not because the wife is bad, lure the husband out of the family. That is my opinion. Not because she's bad or she wants to create chaos. But she can't handle such situations. What she began to see wasn't what she anticipated. She was not expecting so much pressure because she cannot mentally deal with such situations. It's a cry for help, running away to have to breathe. I don't believe they ran, they left because they just want to rebel, they don't want to be part. No. Not every child can take the target set for them. So we need to, that is why we must not judge every child equally. We judge them, look at what is happening around them separately. Because one might be able to deal with it, one might not be able to deal. And as we know, they've all come up with the issue of that they are all going through mental issues, mental challenges. A lot of things that has been repressed over the years. That is what we see now. Now they come out, it looks like they've been stubborn, they've been, neglecting the family. No, they want space. They felt confided. Some people just function effectively outside the box. Not everybody wants to be in the box. They want to think outside the usual, outside the norm. They want to be able to think for themselves, because everything we as parents want our children to do is what we expect them to do. What about what they want to do? We want our children, we impose what we want, what we think, how we expect it to be on them. But what about, what do they really want to do? Don't forget, they are human beings themselves. They came here for a mission. And when you try to oppress them, they rebel. When you try to oppress, by so doing, you are oppressing their purpose, why they are here. So let us begin to understand these areas. Please, I want to be of help. I've been thinking about this for some time. If you live around Southeast London, around, if you're not too far away from me, keep in touch. Or if you want, I can do telephone counseling as well. We can do video chat as well. Okay? So, I'm off. And I'll come back again. And please, let me use the opportunity for those of you, you've noticed I've not been coming up on Facebook for quite some time. My attention is more drawn now to YouTube. Most of my videos, there's one coming up very soon. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, this opportunity, I'm just asking you, please go there and subscribe. There's a lot of topics, a lot of interviews that I've done that are on the pipeline coming up on YouTube. So go there, subscribe. So whenever I post any video, you'll be the first to to get the alert. You will not miss on my educative talk shows. Hopefully that is educational for most of you. My next is, or maybe you are somebody, you are, you feel like it's time to start it's time to tell that story. It's time to share that thing you have been through. You think you want to use it to educate somebody else. You want to tell the world, you want to share with the world. You want people to know and learn from your experience. Also get in touch, and I'll invite you. We'll talk about it and share it to the world. My next video coming up on my YouTube channel, Tina Talk Show, Bridging the Gap, is about a mayor who came to share about his upbringing, his childhood experience, all the steps, all the challenges, the pitfalls, that he went through, and now he became a lawyer and a mayor. And how did all that happen? Tune in, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will learn so much from him. So, and also if you have something to share, maybe your business or something, you want to tell us how your business started, what motivated you, where did you get all this? How did you get to know that is what you should be doing? Maybe when you share your story, somebody else will also be inspired and step out and do their own. They'll start up their own because they've just heard you. Wouldn't you, like me, a lot of people, not because I'm just going to be saying it right now, a lot of people tell me that because they've heard my story, whenever they are weak, they get up. If Ada can do it, why am I just being lazy about? I can do it as well. So until next time, I will come up probably this evening again if I have the time and strength to come and share something very important. Stay tuned, okay? As always, please remain blessed, and bye for now.